Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. We'll be talking about that blizzard that we made a video about yesterday. There's quite a few changes, quite a few updates, a lot of uncertainty still, but I needed to give you guys an update as this is a potentially, obviously, a big storm indicated by the title. And by the way, for those that were commenting about the background, I will be getting something in the background soon, just like a maybe fun map or something to look at, just to increase the pop in the back. I mean, you can see it's just all brown. But if you guys are new to this channel, hello and welcome. I'm a hobbyist. I'm a weather enthusiast, if you will. I talk about the weather and people listen. So it's a win-win. If you guys like this channel, if you like what you're seeing, check out the other videos. Check it out for yourself and see if it's worthy of a subscription. And if you are a returning viewer, liking the video would be awesome. Otherwise, let's get into this and let's start talking about this potential storm. It's looking very interesting, so let's get into that. I do also want to say one thing before we get into this video. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I am recording this on Thanksgiving Day, so if you're watching this on the 26th, you may or may not be. If you are, happy Thanksgiving. If you aren't, happy Thanksgiving. It is a beautiful time of the year where we could be thankful for what we've had. Despite this year having its own curveballs, there's always something we can find to be thankful for and have an optimistic view, and hopefully have a warm, nice meal and a family to enjoy it with. And if not, then at least you have my video. Hopefully it will keep you company throughout those hours. Okay, so let's get into this without further ado. Let's start off by looking at the Canadian model. So this model, let's just start looking at the MSLP and precipitation. Let's get into this weather information. So going back to hour 6, which is right now, current time. Okay, so a lot of people say that the data is, or like the print is very small. And I will try making this, hopefully you could see this, because for those that are new to this website or to my channel and don't know weather models that well, here we have the day, so Thursday, November 26th, and if we move this forward, you could see it's now Friday, November 27th, and that 6Z is the central time zone, like in the middle of the Earth, if you will, kind of the area where I think it's UK and portions of Europe where it's literally adjusted to that. So West Coast, pretty much, this is at around 12. Our location, Central Time, is around 1 o'clock, so we'll just go through this. But look at this. So notice that right now we have a lot of precipitation moving out into the northeast. I say a lot, but it's really scattered. It's not heavy. And as we continue pushing this out into time, this is now at around 2 o'clock in the morning Friday. So Black Friday shopping looks actually pretty good for those that will indulge in that. 7 o'clock in the morning, a bit of snow showers across the arrowhead of Minnesota, a few rain showers across portions of the south and east, and quite a bit of snow across southwestern Canada, but not moving into the United States yet at the beginning, right? But then as we progress into the day, into the afternoon hours, some rain showers may be pushing into the northwest. The heavy rain and snow continues. We also start seeing some snow showers develop across the Four Corners area, New Mexico especially getting impacted by that. Nothing seems too heavy, but a few inches may fall. For exact details, please go to the National Weather Service, as these weather models, they only provide us kind of with a vague idea, and I am not trying to substitute the National Weather Service by any means. They are absolutely incredible at what they do, and they should not be undermined by any means. So let's take a look at now Saturday. Saturday is this is evening Friday. Now this is early Saturday. We again see showers across New Mexico, rain starting to develop across the south, and really with this next storm, which we're talking about, it's this low pressure and this basically this low pressure potential that's at this point a disorganized area of showers, and they're gonna be kind of working together. And this is why it makes the system so hard to predict, because how these two interact is going to be a big determinant. And the track of these two, which is already usually hard enough for Miles to point out, usually even if it's just one storm, say even like if it was just this one, it would still be hard to pin down the exact track and a lot of uncertainty. But adding on this storm and where it tracks just almost doubles that. It kind of it pretty much squares that uncertainty. So let's take a look and continue pushing this forward into time. I do apologize, I had to move that forward since every time I do draw, it kind of freezes the map. So hopefully, okay, good. So this is 2 o'clock in the afternoon Saturday. A bit of snow across the Texas Panhandle, maybe a few snow showers across Amarillo and locations surrounding. And we see that northern piece of energy humidity really dwindled down. A lot of the mountains eat up that moisture. It's pretty anemic, but what it does have with it is the cold air, which obviously is necessary in order for snow to fall. Notice we start seeing a large splurge of precipitation starting to form. It's more organized, it's more heavy. It's not as disorganized as we saw on Saturday. Pushing into the evening hours of Sunday, so this is at around the afternoon, 2 o'clock, Eastern time at around 3 o'clock. And again, this is the estimate, so this may be a few hundred miles, or a few, even tens, hundreds of miles further to the north, further to the south. Again, that's kind of what each model shows. This is the Canadian, and I'm showing you the more aggressive scenario first. So we have that cold air, really the cold air is in place. However, this low pressure kind of is pushed a bit further to the east. The main model change has been a storm further to the east. So cities like Chicago, Milwaukee really are at this point seeing lower chances for seeing that heavy snow. They could still see snow, limited though. Again, that still may change, but a trend is a friend, and usually when it's not far out and we see a trend, that's good news and a sign of more confidence, and we've been seeing that trending towards the eastern United States. As much as I would like snow across Chicago, it's most likely not going to happen across Chicago with the 12 foot or whatever, or 12 inches that we saw earlier. Notice the low pressure really intensifies. I mean, it's not really the strongest low pressure in terms of the millibars, but it has a high pressure working with it, which is really stretched out at this point. So it's converging the high pressure winds and the low pressure winds together, forming very strong winds. So you could see a lake effect snow stripe across Lake Michigan. Northwestern Indiana could get a bit of snow, quite a bit. Global models have been notoriously bad at forecasting lake effect, so we'll have to wait until the high resolution come out. The National Weather Service around, the lakes have been hinting at some potentially heavy lake effect amounts. Notice lots of rain across the East Coast. If you live, say, across New Jersey, Boston, Connecticut, Massachusetts, not Boston, Boston's a city, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, all those coastal areas, with this storm, it seems pretty unlikely you'll be seeing snow of any kind, to be honest. Notice this thing tracks up pretty far to the north very quickly. The snow is continuing across much of Indiana, Ohio. This is now 6 o'clock in the morning Monday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, this thing is going to be a long duration event falling at moderate to light rates. It doesn't seem to be falling at intense rates. It's just the longevity of the storm. And I'll show you why this matters. The Canadian keeps this storm around for a while, spins it back. You can see kind of tosses it back. Lots of cold air. The snow continues and drops for quite a while. We see another reinforced shot of cold air. This is now 2 o'clock in the afternoon Wednesday. And this thing finally decides to push out with a few remaining showers. So if you were to look at the total snowfall accumulations for this system, it would be pretty high. They are going to be pretty high according to the Canadian. You could see widespread still 1 foot amounts across Michigan, Ohio, eastern Indiana. And again, I would say that anywhere really kind of Michigan, Indiana, across this area, you could still be seeing some heavy snow. Anywhere further east or west, sorry, like Chicago, Milwaukee, the chance is there for some snow, and you can see that a lot of these cities are on a border between no snow, a bit of snow, and heavy snow. So exactly how this arranges, we'll have to see. But again, if I were to take an educated guess with what the models have been trending at, it's more like cities like Pittsburgh maybe are going to be seeing more heavy snow versus like Chicago. This has been trending further and further to the east with each model run. Not significantly, but the trend is there. And again, a trend is your friend. This is what the Canadian model shows. Now let me show you what the GFS, the regular GFS numerical model shows. Notice, it shows a lot less in terms of the widespread amounts. You know, it's only centered across Ohio, really that's it, and portions of Michigan. But it's very heavy snow across Ohio. I mean, if that were to occur, cities like Cleveland, Columbus could be seeing maybe, over a foot of snow. Now again, this is just one model. Can this model be right? 100%, but we don't know that, and unfortunately, as vague as that sounds, sorry, I meant to click on a precip rain/frozen. As vague as that is and as annoying as that sounds, unfortunately that seems to be the case. Sorry, I do want to, I'm still a bit confused, or I'm struggling a bit because I wanted to zoom in for you guys since that seems to be helping, right? And I also have to though kind of sacrifice the quickness of accessing things, but definitely I'll be able to do it if you guys would like me to. So notice this is what the GFS does. You'd realize that the snowfall amounts were much less widespread, but more concentrated. So we have that first southern wave into Sunday, Saturday. Really, the northern piece, according to the GFS, is almost non-existent. It does deliver cold air, which is really the kind of the main component of that, or the main purpose, if you will, of that northern piece. The main purpose for the blizzard aspect in order to form. And as we push this into portions of Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, notice it's a bit further towards the east than the Canadian. But notice, very heavy amounts or very heavy rate, but for a much briefer time. And it pushes further to the north quicker and out of this area much quicker than the Canadian. Now, it still lingers. You can see this is now early Wednesday, late Tuesday. The snow showers are pretty much pulling away, but it's more isolated, and again, it will be falling heavily, but for a more brief period of time, resulting in higher amounts of snow, just more isolated, as you saw by the total snowfall. Let's just take a quick glance at that again. Notice, very high amounts potentially across Ohio, maybe even Detroit, portions of Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, except, again, it's just one model that's showing that. Each model shows its own little agenda, and you pretty much have to decide what they're all agreeing on and go from there, kind of the base. And then as you get further and closer towards the details, they differ even more. But they start agreeing more as the event gets closer. So let's take a glance now at the GFS parallel. This is a upgraded GFS model that is going to replace the regular GFS right here. It's going to replace this one in 2021. So definitely it's supposed to be better, and honestly from what I've seen this year so far, it is better. Doesn't mean that for every event it will be better. Notice what it has. Much more heavier amounts across portions of Canada into portions of eastern Ontario and much of Quebec. Some pretty heavy snow still occurring across Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. You know, not 1 foot amounts or 2 feet amounts as indicated by some of those snow totals, but 6 to 10 inches widespread across Ohio, Pennsylvania. It does dwindle quite a bit across Indiana and Kentucky. Still though, if you're living in Kentucky and you're watching this video, I would say that the chances for you are pretty high of seeing snow. Now, how much snow, again, is a bit of that question that has yet to be answered. This is what the GFS parallel shows. Notice it does keep a bit of a stronger northerly component. The cold air is a bit slower to arrive, so this storm actually takes a much more westward track, and you would think that that would produce more snow across Illinois, but really it keeps it mostly as rain, and then it transitions it over into snow across portions of Michigan into northern Ohio. You can see right there. It does keep it around for quite a while. You can see spinning away, and by late Tuesday, early Wednesday, it's moving out, but still dumping very heavy snow across portions of Michigan, Ontario, Ohio, Pennsylvania. So still heavy snow amounts, just not as ridiculous as some of the amounts were shown yesterday. Now, again, that may be a trend that could be reversed. We'll have to see. And for people wondering if you're living across the coastal areas, I got a few questions regarding how much snow will I see, when can I see snow. With this system, again, as I mentioned earlier, the chances don't seem too high. However, there's a second system. You can see the model shows this one right here, right around that next weekend time frame. That one is completely, that one's jumping all over the board. We first have to get this first system nailed down. The second one, though, all I'm saying is that there's a potential for it to become kind of a nor'easter and deliver some snow across the northeast. So that's something to keep an eye on for after this first system, which is still a very unconfident about. Let's take a look at the high-resolution European model. Let's just switch the websites, and let's go to the noon one, which came out a few hours ago. And let's take a glance at this. Notice, for Black Friday, again, very pleasant weather, relatively warm, showers across the south, very heavy snow and rain across southwestern Canada. Anywhere else, just a few isolated batches of either rain or snow. As we push forward into Sunday and into Cyber Monday, we start seeing these two systems phase together. You could see the European doing something more of what the Canadian does with that northerly system, a bit stronger. It tracks this storm generally where the other models put it, through around the western mid-Atlantic areas, Virginia, West Virginia, and that doesn't mean necessarily where it tracks will be the snow, because usually it's a bit further to the north and west of where the exact, center of the low is. You can see to the northwest. And again, where that tracks is what determines the temperatures and what determines the snowfall. So this is what the European does. Again, European is usually regarded pretty highly. It has been a bit inconsistent these past few months, but still a very good model. Notice it delivers a lot of snow across Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, transitions it similar to what the Canadian does. The only difference is with the European and the rest of the models, the European just whips this system out of here very quickly. Notice that this system is almost, the low pressure is really kind of leaving the main bulk of the area by Tuesday morning versus the Canadian leaving it Wednesday evening. So more than 24 hours of difference. And you can see that the showers that do remain by Wednesday are just really light and most likely just lake effect. And it does continue spinning around in Canada. And how this reacts, how it spins around, could drop a lot more snow. And again, the models, of course, like typical, are all over the place. So to take away from this video, the track has been more eastwardly. So cities that are further to the east, maybe like Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Indianapolis, Detroit, could be more likely to see snow versus cities like Green Bay, Milwaukee, Chicago, or Southern Illinois, or maybe extreme portions of Western Indiana. Now, let's take a look at the total snowfall, but before we do, I just want to show you that the European also keeps a second system in the brewing, which looks interesting and is also switching around quite a bit. So let's take a look at this. Winter weather, total snowfall accumulations based on the European model. Let's just take this through. Notice the amounts are still high. So portions like Cleveland, if this were to come true, the European, which is probably one of the least snowier scenarios from all the models. Cleveland, still almost a foot of snow. Erie, Pennsylvania, possibly a foot of snow. Dayton, Ohio, maybe 9-8 inches. Indianapolis, 3-4 inches. Portions of northwestern Indiana, 4-5. Chicago, you can see not picking up on anything. Same with Milwaukee. That may change, obviously. Detroit, 4-5-6 inches as you move towards the northwest. And then portions of southern Canada, Toronto, maybe on that verge between seeing quite a bit of snow and minimal amounts of snow. So we'll have to see. This is the model run prior to the newer one, kind of the midnight one. And you could see that the amounts were quite a bit different, and that just goes to show you that the models are, again, quite a bit jumpy. It showed much more snow across Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, so definitely a interesting scenario still with a lot of uncertainty. And as regarding to what the official forecasts are saying, I mean, you could see nothing is issued. It's way too early. They're definitely favoring, the Ohio, Indiana area. But even if I were to go to, say, Cleveland, where you saw that probably most models agree on that area seeing snow, the National Weather Service still just gave it rain, snow likely. But again, Tuesday snow likely, 60%. They're still relatively not confident about that. Obviously, the details will start coming in as we push towards the forecasting time or towards the actual storm occurrence. Say, let's take a look at Indianapolis, right? And let's click on the actual downtown area. Chance of rain, snow, chance. All you see is chances. And again, if the European model run from today was correct, you'd see 3 to 4 inches. If the one from midnight was correct, you'd be seeing, 6, 7, 8, 9 inches. And that's the case with many cities, unfortunately. Tiny track difference, huge difference in results, which could mean a lot of frustrated people, wanting or not wanting what they wanted. So hopefully that made sense. The high resolution models like the NAM 12km and the NAM 3km, they are still too far out, or they don't go far out enough. If I were to look at the NAM 12km, it starts forming the system, but all it takes is really by tomorrow afternoon, the early NAMs will start showing the system and how it formulates. Again, the NAM models sometimes are accurate, sometimes aren't. It's just really they follow the trend of the rest of the models, and we'll just have to wait and see. And I know that I hate those vague type of answers that maybe yeah, maybe no, but that's life, unfortunately. Sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them, and the models have that same attitude. If you were to also look at the winds, I do want to emphasize that the winds, regardless of how the snow sets up, rain, snow, they look pretty strong. If you were to look at the GFS, the isobars are still pretty packed. Ohio, Indiana, most likely where the snow does fall, will probably have blizzard warnings, and you may be extremely excited about that. That doesn't necessarily mean heavy snow. Oftentimes, blizzards come with heavy snow, but not always. Sometimes you don't even need snow falling. It could be a ground blizzard. As long as snow is blowing in the air, it's reduced visibility because of that snow, and for for a certain amount of time, I think 3 hours, under a third of a mile, reduced visibility with 35 miles per hour or greater with snow falling or blowing is considered a blizzard. So This thing, regardless, is still a beast, still is very strong, and has to be monitored. A lot of details, a lot of things yet to be resolved, but for now, this is it. I have to go get my Thanksgiving dinner, and I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.